Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Conner.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Conner.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is the 9th day of April 2025, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road, because the life you save may just be your own. We're continuing to see an increase in the frequency of motor vehicle accidents being reported as well. And I need to say no more about that, just to urge you to please be cautious. If you don't know how to operate a vehicle properly, and for some reason you're on our roads, either licensed or unlicensed, please, again, you want to do as much as you possibly can to protect yourselves and those around you as well. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a happy belated birthday as well. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more information. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. And again, this morning, big shout out to our two colleagues here at Radio Cayman, DJ Len and Mr. Joel Wilson, wishing both of them a speedy recovery as well. And also a good friend of many Caymanians and family over in Tampa for a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Conner, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number, provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number 925-3261. We can only accommodate one caller at a time from that number as well. So let's look at the birthday shout-outs today. First of all, a happy belated birthday to Miss Lisa Arch Scott, who celebrated her birthday yesterday. And birthday also Mr. Ian Tibbetts celebrated his birthday yesterday, as well as Mr. Joseph James also celebrated a birthday yesterday. For today, looking for the 9th. Well, we have the 10th. Chuck Connor celebrating his birthday. Christopher Hadome also celebrating a birthday. And Troy McCoy celebrating a birthday tomorrow, the 10th of April as well. And to remind you again that For the Record, birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And also by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more information. So, folks, remember now in the intro, I talked about the fact that we focus on things that are occurring around locally, regionally, and internationally. This morning, we're going to talk about something that has occurred locally. You would have heard it on Radio Cayman's news, probably the first place that it would have been announced as well, where the domestic election and referendum observers have been appointed. And you would have heard me opine on this previously, and also putting a word of caution to ensure that those persons who put themselves forward that they were not affiliated with any candidate. They weren't an agent of a candidate, because that would prove to be a conflict. So, 7 persons have been officially appointed by Her Excellency the Governor, Jane Owen, on Tuesday morning, 8th of April, to serve as the 2025 domestic election and referendum observers. They have been tasked to observe in a non-partisan and neutral manner the upcoming general election and referendum, which will be held on the 30th of April in the Cayman Islands. The 7-member domestic election and referendum observer mission consists of head of mission, Ms. Deborah Ebanks, and I want to say congratulations to Ms. Deborah Ebanks. She is long-serving member with the elections office as well, and she heads up this domestic team with a wealth of knowledge being accumulated over the years that she has worked in the elections office. So the head of mission Head of Mission, Ms. Deborah Ebanks, along with Nelva Ebanks, Brioni Gallegos, Abraham Matthew, Brittany McVicker, Mark Thomas, and Valerie Rich, Jessica Anderson, and Colleen Stozel. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. They have been selected as alternate observers. So, Mark Thomas and Valerie Rich, Jessica Anderson, and Colleen Stoltz. They have been selected as alternate observers. The observer mission members were selected by a committee chaired by Deputy Governor Honorable France Madison. Other members of the committee were Chairman of the Constitutional Commission, Lemuel Hurlston, Member of the Human Rights Commission, Jennifer Hunter, Member of the Standards in Public Life Commission, Woody Foster, Member of the Civil Service Appeals Commission, Shamari Scott, and Chief Project Officer in the Office of the Deputy Governor, Mr. Kristen Suku. In reviewing the 20 expressions of interest, so there were 20 expressions of interest received, the committee considered the expertise and work experience of the candidates, experience working in an election, appearance of political neutrality, and any other knowledge, expertise, and attributes that would be beneficial to the observer role. So I want to say congratulations to all. If time allows, we will talk more about the role of elections observers and the excellent role that they play throughout the world observing elections. And we can also take a look at the 2021 local election observers report that, of course, if you go to the website of the elections office, you can find it there as well. We do have a caller, but what we're going to do, take the commercial break first, because we would only have about 2 minutes for the caller to talk. Caller, hang in there. Quick commercial break. When we return, we will converse with you. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series. Brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Sherman Erdis Ebanks, Certificate of Honor, 1915 through 1995. Captain Erdis was a pioneer in the charter fishing and diving industry, for which he received the Queen's Certificate and Badge of Honor in 1991. He introduced the sport of boxing to the Cayman Islands, for which he received recognition from the Ministry of Sports, Youth Affairs, and Culture. He was a pioneer in the taxi service and in Jeep rental. He served in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Force for 10 years. During that time, the Home Guard was established, and he served there as well, keeping watch at the lighthouses during World War II. He was married to Phyllis R. Ebanks, and the couple had 4 children.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. But I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked, you can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
This is For the Record.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning there, Mr. Conner.
Hey, morning. How art thou?
I'm good. You're focusing a lot there on the election observers.
Yes.
You need to put more effort into the candidates.
Well,
I listened to a forum there the other night. So see, let me tell you, I don't like throwing cold water on nobody parade, but I don't like raining on nobody parade, but I hope some of them don't win.
Yeah, I don't comment too much on the candidates because I have to remain neutral. Even though when I shared the what someone had written about the nomination of Mr. Ozzy Borden and that fiasco, I was accused of being partisan. Of course, those persons who were commenting about it didn't know or didn't acknowledge all that was said. I laid it all out there on the table in terms, of what the elections office has said, that he remained a candidate. And then I even looked at what the possible options were, what could occur later on. But, people will be people, so I can't.
See, just because one little hiccup there, somebody observed, never realized something. Or I understand in the end, she was eligible to do what she did. I spoke to her personally, so that would not stop one of our Caymanians from exceeding. I don't into that. What I'm concerned about though is that I don't see any government programs that are focusing on what Caymanians can do or what Caymanians should be doing. Like, for example, our largest source of revenue comes from finance. I don't think that there's a government program that are directly pushing our kids into that area. The second one is tourism, and I don't know of any program that are really directly into pushing our students into that area, right? Getting them educated in that area. For example, the Philippines. The Philippines government have a serious program into nursing, where they have become the world's largest supplier of nurses, right? So, for example, pilots. I don't know of any government program where we're pushing our guys into being pilots and the likes.
But we have been pretty successful with that. The initiatives that Cayman Airways have taken.
That's what I'm saying. But guess what? We are in such, our Cayman pilots seem to be in high demand because as soon as they get a couple hours under the belt, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, the U.S. major airlines wants them. So it might be something special about them. So why don't we concentrate on educating our people into those areas? For example, OC, look at this. And it wasn't a government program. It was more like a community do as your uncle or dad done. Go to sea. Everybody went to sea, became a seaman, to the point where we mastered the largest floating bulk carriers on the ocean. I'm talking about going out there. Couldn't wait till you become
and tankers 16.
too.
Tankers too. Tankers and bulk.
Well, yeah. You know the
terminology.
See, to the point where they were masters of that floating object that was taking $1 million payload, where they had to make decision. I'm talking about the captain of the ship now, make decision whether he should go through a typhoon or turn around. Major decision that was made by a little barefoot boy up the road from where I live in Easton, or down the road from where I live, or somewhere in Rockhold, Georgia, or somewhere in West Bay, had control of that type of happening in the world. In the world, this is world class, right? And not only captain, they steer the ship up the river, major ship up the river. They were bosuns. I know the titles, never went, but I know the title. You hear I'm talking about him, bosun. They were in the galley. He become chief cook.
Steward.
Chief steward too.
Yeah. Pumpman.
I know Marvin Connolly's father was a chief steward. Then if you put them in the engine room, something that they never saw in their life, never saw engine in their life, they became chief engineer of that OC. Can you you need to magnify that like a million times
Yeah.
to be able to understand that.
Well, let's go to the modern day. I don't know if you listened yesterday on Talk Today. I was the guest host on there. We had a respiratory therapist in the studio with us from the Health Services Authority, Miss Kimberly Danielle, right? She is a respiratory therapist. Two of them working at the hospital. She pointed out that there's a need for a third. And as our population grows and as our population continue to get more and more obese and everything else, we are going to need more. Now, if the Health Services Authority knows that down the line, if they know that down the line they will require more, I wonder, I'm not going to accuse them of not doing it. My question is, the rhetorical question is, have you offered a scholarship to a Caymanian to study for that position and come and take up that position? Those are the things that we have failed to do in many of our government institutions, and we have also failed to hold the private sector's feet to the fire to do the same thing, even though some of them, as good corporate citizens, are doing it.
Yeah, but see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Where those programs that are pushing our people to be educated within those areas. Like I tell you, we dominated that industry to the fact where we could build the economy that we have now. They were the one. When I say we, I mean we were the one who built the banking system. Because of what we did at sea, because of not just being the messmen, but others being able to send home more money than the ordinary little messman. We were sending home money from the top level straight down to the bottom level, right? To the fact where we had to find some way to put the money. We build the homes. We the guys that travel, they came back with so much knowledge. A lot of them that left school at 16 that wasn't able to read and write properly. That became engineer had to end up wrong to learn to read and write and do everything to become an engineer. That when they came back here, there was also engineers of the CUCs and the hospitals and the likes and started other businesses because of them being educated within that industry. You see, so that is one of the main reasons we are where we are today. So that is why I'm asking about programs where we can educate our people and produce a lot of our people to be educated in various areas, especially, like I say, tourism, because tourism starts from everything, from opening the door to the tourists to being the engineer at the hotel too, Jose. Everything, everything.
Got about 1 minute left.
Yeah, so so that's really my rant today. You got guests?
Yes, we will have a candidate for West Bay South in the studio with us at 8:15. Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, he will be with us for an hour.
Well, Sterling being a talk show host, he might want to take calls, I wonder.
Well, you have some people out there who are extremely mischievous, and rather than they will try to put you on the spot, or they will try to pull things out of you that they want that may not have anything to do in terms of your qualifications, but questioning your affiliations and things of that. Anyway, before you go, one of our listeners said Mr. Graham is on point this morning. Then they asked, why is he called Lord Graham? So my response, and I was still typing it, and I'll send it, just an honorary title that his friends bestowed upon him, even knighted him with a rusty machete. So that's my response to them.
I want to finish with this.
Quick.
We were so instrumental in mastering it, or whatever we went at, to the point where you imagine now, cabinet have appointed our people to sit on environmental board, but can you imagine other people that come here now are saying that they're not good enough to sit on a board of of an island that they created, that they advanced, that they've been here from time of creation.
Okay.
Now, our people are not good enough at that simple thing.
Yep. Okay, Lord Graham, thank you very much. I'm sure, I don't think we have anyone after 9:15, so phone lines will be open again. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back with Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Conner. And studio time by Foster's is a minute after 8.
Feast without the fuss.
Make Foster's part of your tradition this year with our full holiday feast.
For $94.99, you can feed up to 8 with a full meal. Order online, pick up in store.
Choose your main from our 12-hour smoked pork, oven-roasted turkey, or maple-glazed ham.
Or indulge your guests with our extra special herb-roasted leg of lamb feast or a 7-pound fried snapper for $119.99.
Order your full Easter feast online today at fosters.ky.
Foster's, better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Judge's summation continues today in a wounding trial. Alexander Smiley is charged in relation to a 2024 altercation that left both him and another man injured. Mr. Smiley says he was acting in self-defense to protect himself and his wife. After the judge's summing up, the jury is expected to start deliberating. Georgetown East is the focus of the final Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum.
When I first ran in 2013, there was a distinct lack of leadership and the country was deep in debt.
Far and above any other issue, the national spending and national debt has to be number one.
It's time we prioritize the needs and the voices of our community.
Education reform. It was an issue then, and it has now become a full-on crisis.
Incumbent Roy McTaggart is running with the PPM. Vassal Bud Johnson is on the Cayman Islands National Party ticket. Oscar Bodden is running as an independent, and M. Deku with the Caymanian Community Party. Tonight at 7 p.m., the Chamber hosts the Party Leaders Debate, which you can listen to live right here on Radio Cayman, as well as our social media channels. That's a wrap on NCFA. CIDTV's Lavita Thompson explains.
The National Children's Festival of the Arts put students in Cayman Brac center stage last Saturday for their finals concert. Students representing all schools in Cayman Brac performed drama, dance and song in front of peers, educators and their families. For highlights from both the Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac concerts, follow the Department of Education Services at DES Cayman on Instagram.
And Year 5 students at Cayman Prep and High School have immersed themselves in the world of ancient Greece this term, wrapping up with a special Greek day this week.
War, peace, democracy. We're talking ancient history. It's all Greek to me.
The school's Greek assembly kicked off in the amphitheater at Dart Park, bringing to life the legacy of ancient Greek theaters. Later, the students indulged in a Greek banquet provided by the school and participated in a carousel of ancient Greek activities. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. China has again retaliated against Donald Trump's tariffs, putting a further 50% levy on all goods imported from the United States. It brings the overall duty to 84%. Hours earlier, Washington introduced a tax of more than 100% on some imports from China. Dozens of other countries are also affected. The deepening global trade war has caused further tumult on financial markets. Shares in Europe and Asia have fallen again. There's also been a big sell-off of long-term US government debt, or bonds, which are usually considered a safe asset. There's been speculation that China, a major US bond holder, may be one of the big sellers. In other news, Germany is about to announce a new coalition government after weeks of haggling. Friedrich Merz of the Conservative Christian Democrats will become the new chancellor. Medics in the Gaza Strip say at least 29 people, including children, have been killed by Israeli strikes in the east of Gaza City. Eyewitnesses say a 4-storey building was destroyed. Rescuers in the Dominican Republic are searching the ruins of a nightclub in which 113 people were killed when a roof collapsed. The former Congolese president Joseph Kabila says he'll soon return to the country to help resolve the conflict in the east, which has displaced hundreds of thousands of people. He's been living in South Africa since 2023. One of the lead investigators of the deadliest rail crash in Greek history has resigned. He said that he'd received death threats because of his work. 57 people were killed in the accident 2 years ago. South Korean police have detained 2 Chinese teenagers for taking photographs and video footage of fighter planes at several military bases. Some of the sites are used by US forces. The father of one is thought to be a Chinese security official. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets. Ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets. At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 80 degrees. Relative humidity is 90%. The barometric pressure is 29.98 inches and rising. The winds are calm. Overnight low was 77. Synopsis indicate isolated showers associated with a cold front is expected to drift across the Cayman Islands as the front moves eastward. The front is expected to become stationary near eastern Cuba later this evening and gradually dissipate. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the southeast. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the near to mid to upper 80s. Winds will be north to northwest at 5 knots or less, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet with possible swells along the west and northern coast for today and tonight as well. Tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be north to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet, with possible swells along the west and northern coast. Low tide will be this afternoon at 9 minutes after 2, high tide tonight at 8:20. The sun will set this evening at 6:40 and will rise tomorrow morning at 12 minutes after 6. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in cloudiness and a chance of showers from tomorrow morning as the cold front gradually dissipates. Winds are expected to increase as a high-pressure system builds behind the front, increasing the pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Britke. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britke, where people come first.
The Water Authority invites its Cayman Brac customers to join the celebration. The Authority's distribution network has now reached Spot Bay. To mark this milestone, the Authority will host a special customer event on Wednesday, the 9th of April, at the entrance of Long Beach from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Attendees can register for pipe water service and enter to win one of 3 Water Authority gift certificates valued at $500, $250, and $100. Join us to celebrate this achievement for Cayman Brac.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach. The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning again. Let's take a look this time at traffic. Traffic coming from the east is moving along steadily. I can see a cruise ship in the spots area. As you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, moving on steadily as well. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way and off of Agnes Way, traffic is steady but flowing. And on Cool Road, heading to Georgetown, slow moving traffic. Moderate flow of traffic on Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, traffic is flowing at a good pace. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving on moderately in both directions, as well as on North Sound Road and in the Industrial Park area. Heading towards the industrial area, traffic is moving along at a good pace. Coming off of the Ashley Tibbetts Highway, steady but flowing traffic. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. But I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM and 93.9, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, it's my pleasure to have in the studio with me none other than Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who is an independent candidate seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our legislature. And I'm going to say good morning. Welcome back to For the Record, Mr. Sterling Ebanks. And we see that your manifesto is out, and no doubt you will be talking a little bit about this as well. I think when you were last on the show, you promised that it would be out, and I heard you talk about your website as well that is now up and functioning. So good morning, welcome, and tell us all about what's happening.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. O.C. And if I might just say a big thank you to the civil service machinery. I've always been a public servant. I think I heard it very early on, and I recall as a primary school student thinking then, and I'm convinced even more so now, that it was Kennedy who said, you always want to be a public servant, whether you're elected or appointed. That's a calling that is many of us, a calling that for some it is something that they recognize in terms of peacetime. You go and you contribute to your country. Those of us who have fathers primarily and grandfathers who knew wars, and like Lord Graham referenced just prior, I want to call it the tail end, as they would say, not the amen in this case, of that pride. You could hear it in his voice, of Caymanians of yesteryear going as seafarers from the messman to the chief engineer, a fellow who come on as bosun and ends up as captain. Men who, as little boys, in their early teens in many cases, not yet the age of maturity, not leaving home because they're ushered out by their parents, but leaving home in prayer and in support, answering a call to contribute to country and community, recognizing that need to be a part of the fabric to ensure that that quality of life that we want now, they were willing to sacrifice then. Now, I thought about that when a conversation not long ago with my own father. And as I reflected on it last evening, just sitting there writing, thinking, reading, gathering your thoughts, he shared that, and sadly with Alzheimer's, like so many now, you have those moments of clarity, and then there are those times where the bouts hit you, and there's a little bit of anxiety and the like. Thank God for sisters and brothers who are supportive of wider community, the ability through cynical and other resources, but as much as we can do for our parents, with all of us, 1 of 10, all have, thank God, at least a chick or a child, it's insufficient to meet the need to show them the respect that they have earned, that they deserve. And it is why I would like to emphasize the importance for this country to immediately place a greater emphasis on our elderly. We can set up councils and pass legislation. We can talk about enforcement of things. But it comes down to love and respect. And that is sorely lacking. And I know that if we think back, as Lord Graham talked about, with those men of yesterday who went. They're not being respected now. They're not being remembered. Their exploits, if we may say that, as well as their accomplishments, are not being recalled, not being relayed in our schools or in our homes, in our communities. We are a people who have, to some extent, a recorded history, but it's mostly oral. And those stories aren't just stories, that we share at some festival, or stories that we recall, sadly, at some funeral. These are things that should inform us. What I am hoping is not just through a leadership that is trusted and trustworthy, that respects the fellow colleagues who are also given the honor and privilege to be elected, but someone who, as I go about canvassing, that's the term that we describe, who at the invitation of many, you are allowed to come into their homes, sometimes just inside their front porch, and they're sharing with you. Our Caymanian people are not only interested in politics, they are aware of it in the Cayman context, in the region, and globally. And they understand the time of day. What is unfortunate is that many who, because of ego, ambition, misplaced loyalty, perhaps it's because I was literally born in West Bay. I'm honored to be a Caymanian for two reasons. This is the land of my father's birth. But there are many people who've come here, and for decades, or whether they've only been here for a short time, they love this place. They remind us of what we have, and we see the importance of the stability, not just the economic stability, the political stability and the social stability. And I emphasize those two because they go hand in hand. Through you, I would like to invite, our listeners, and in particular the voters in West Bay South, to two things. One, get us involved and engaged in what, through the manifesto that has been prepared. You can go on sterlingforwestbaysouth.com. You can reach out to me, and 916-1776. It's a beautiful number, not because Mr. Loxley passed it on to me, but if you think about it in history, that number, as a year, 1776 was when Adam Smith authored the book Wealth of Nations. It's also when the United States sort of found its own and decided as a country it wanted certain things. Whatever side of that discussion you may be on, looking back to then, you recognize that a people wanting something for itself, separate and distinct from its colonizer, is no different than today. They brought it about through war and friction and loss of life, but we can bring about a semblance of autonomy if we are willing to accept accountability and responsibility. Our people are doing that, but our political leadership speaks to us, and it must speak with inclusion, with a voice of respect. As I listened yesterday to my opponent speak, I came in with the intent of wanting to focus. It's only supposed to be a few minute segment. Again, another invaluable community service that Radio Cayman has provided.
Thank you.
Free to all of us, who are contesting a seat. In this instance, this is a paid political segment, and I'm honored to do that. But it's important that as parliamentarians, and in particular as aspiring politicians who are campaigning for the privilege to serve, to serve, not only to be the servant leader, but to serve the interests, but to do so with honesty and integrity in the public life. What you do in your private life, as long as that does not impact your ability to get up in the next morning and do your job, it doesn't compromise you when you are formulating policy, amending or proposing legislation, when you're sitting across the table with your colleagues. What you do in the dark will come to light, but that can stay there as long as it doesn't. But there is no way that you as an elected person cannot and should not, right, be honest with the public about the public's money. So that to try to distance yourself from what now is projected deficit, a significant deficit. When you go from almost $100 million of expected surplus to now almost $30 million of a deficit, if you put the money, a coin on this side, and you go back 80 and 30 is 110 million. That's a significant, it's not a $30 million deficit. You move that pendulum by $110 million. I don't know about you, but I checked under my, piggy bank mattress this morning. I don't have that much money. That's another noose on our children's,
I don't have a piggy bank. Even I got a mattress, not a piggy bank.
Again, you know what? Maybe we can't even find them anymore. And I share that to say that as we look at that sense of responsibility is key. I am honored to have a fantastic grouping of individuals who are not only willing to sit next to me day after day on tiring efforts, late into the night, back up early, and we prepared something. I did a draft. It's no different than a school project where you 4 or 5 students in the group project working on an assigned task. Each person takes a part, or each person takes the whole thing. They put it together. That is no different than the teams that work together in businesses who have to come up with something that the organization has tasked them to do. That input, that semblance of ownership, because you have a vested interest. Back to where my father was saying, they made a sacrifice, because that's what it was. But in that lucid moment, thank God he has many of them. He recalls the stories. He has an amazing sense of humor.
He said he's 93.
God's willing, 92 in short order.
Yeah.
Right? And my sisters and brothers say that, my daddy should get an award for having to put up with mama. Because honestly, if she was born a man in Cayman or born a woman in any other part of the world, she would be running the world. The drive, that sense. But it's a marked contrast between the two personalities. Here's a lady who, no different from the Miss Francines and the like, except maybe, a little bit, age difference. But that drive, that statue that we have in town, right across from the library in front of the House of Parliament, I still call it the Assembly. That is too small to show the respect and the love and the honor that they appreciate. But it's a sobering reminder of the resolve, the resilience of our people, of our mothers and grandmothers and our sisters and aunts, the women of our society. It's what my daddy and the men have done in the past, that sacrifice.
Yeah.
He said today, make it, and use the word, it's an investment. We now are making an investment in us and in our children's future. So as we age and as they come of age, this is what this is for. In my manifesto, there are a number of initiatives. You would see that the capital works, the physical construction, going to be limited to a few things. I think immediately what has to happen, we need to build a purpose-built facility for the Sunrise Adult Training Center. If people who know my involvement indirectly in recent years or directly as a teenager, if you say, well, that's personal to him, well, it should be personal to all of us. We're called to look at those members of our society who could use a little extra assistance at that time. You are, sir, something you always remind us, our brother's keeper.
Yep.
Right? If I'm, have an injury because of a sporting accident and I need a little help for that time, we get it. The HSA has fantastic resources, including the rehabilitative aspect of it through its physiotherapy. I'm getting help. But we need to know that there are some who need that help continually. Having a purpose-built facility for the Sunrise Adult Training Center has to be an immediate priority as a capital project where the government undertakes that expenditure. The other is the expansion of whatever necessary physical plant that we need. The dental clinic, another great resource. has it sort of outgrown its physical plant? Does it need to be expanded?
And you're talking about the one in West Bay, I suppose, or the one in...
Well, thank you, but the one in town right here. See, I don't believe that we're doing the country... No, let me be direct. We are not doing the country any service, right? We're doing a great disservice to Cayman and to all of us here by continually looking at our political landscape. I always say it, and I keep saying it, little bits and pieces that we chipped and chopped up. The country needs to be unified, because when the government of the day spends money, that money is our money. And worse, it is our unborn children's money.
Yep. Okay. Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we return, you spoke earlier about the political savvy and acumen of the people, of West Bay. And during your talks and your walks, to meet with people, I'd like you to talk about some of the qualities that they are looking for, the expectations that they have for the person who's seeking to represent them in our legislature. You find yourself in a unique position, whereas a few others during this election find themselves where there's only one opponent as opposed to 3, 4, or whatever. And there are opportunities to compare and contrast. Some of it is being done, some is not being done as well. And sometimes people simply don't want to take that approach of me and him or me and her. But people are looking at it that way. That's going to determine, how they vote at the end of the day. So I want to talk a little bit about that. When we return, folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. This is a paid political interview with Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our parliament. Before we went to the break, spoke about the political savvy and acumen of the people, of West Bay, and in particular West Bay South. What are the qualities that they are looking for in the individuals who are seeking to represent them? And I don't have to point this out, but I will. Your opponent is a former, he's still a current member of Parliament because he continued to serve, until, and a former cabinet minister as well. So he has a record to run on, or a record to defend.
Yeah.
And you certainly don't find yourself in that position, but there are persons who may, question your credentials, your experience. So let's talk about those things.
It's interesting when you said record. I recall that famous joke, or that famous West Bay Mason who was before the judge, and the judge looks at him and says, "Mr. Ebanks," he said, "Man, you've been here many times, you got a bad record." He said, "Yeah, Judge, you're not gonna play that one." His records were scored up, right? And that is the folklore that the community, even when it shares its jokes, it speaks, respectfully. It talks to the things. In West Bay, in particular, in West Bay South, right? But across the Caymanians, our people have strong political acumen. They may not have degrees from Cambridge, Oxford, or Harvard, or even had the good fortune of attending UCCI. They may not even had the chance to finish, Standard 6, right? But they know, they understand, and they have what, many of us sadly don't seem to exhibit: common sense. So like every voter, looking for candidates that are honest, candidates that possess a semblance of integrity, candidates that are competent. They have to be accessible. We deserve that. Some have shared, we got to apply for a marriage license, we got to get a driver's license. Should there be some sort of way to assess, formally the candidate? Now, sounds good. Obvious some challenges because some people we know may not be good at taking tests. They may not have certain skill sets, but they are smarter than others when you ask them to get something done. But with that, and as we look at it, there are probably three things that stand out. And as we assess the record, I want people to recognize that the elected members, unlike those of us who are no longer employed, we rely on whatever funds that we may have managed to acquire and save, whatever businesses or investments we may have. Everyone is still getting a salary. Yep. He may have quit from his deputy premier post, but he's still drawing a lot of money every month. They're still being paid. That's fine. I'm not. Why I say that after the elections, when he's not elected, he still get a salary for a few months. For those who are not elected, we'll have to find something else. Those who are, fortunately and privileged to give that honor, will then start to draw that salary. What they are looking at, not just the competence and the understanding and integrity, they want someone who is trustworthy, who can be trusted, someone whose word, when you say something in the morning to your cabinet colleagues, it's the same thing you stand on in the afternoon, unless new information comes to light and the like. But you make a commitment in caucus, when you go to cabinet the next day, they can make a decision, right? So when you're unreliable, right, you're not sure whether the person is going to go when the wind blows. They want you to be reliable, to be trusted, to be trustworthy. But they want you to honor your word. They want you to have that resolve, like our men of yesteryear who went to sea, like what we're trying to instill into our children of today. You stick to it. You commit to something, you see the course. You do not abandon post. I feel in a sense that I didn't fully appreciate how in me, some who know my personal story, know my sort of personal, position. I don't give up on anything. I had, unfortunately, maybe through football, maybe through boxing, ignored that niggling feeling in both of my shoulders, and apparently you need your arms to do stuff, and simple little things like combing your hair for those of us who have some, or having to shave or brush your teeth. If your shoulder, your rotator cuff doesn't move, I love to bake and to cook, and you got to whisk, your bowl, and you got to do stuff, whether it's the eggs for the souffle, or you just want an omelet. If you can't move your arm in that circular motion, you can't do that. You can't do a jumping jack, but you can't even wash your face or brush your teeth. I did not give up. Right? I had the support and encouragement and the fantastic resources of HSA and in partnership with private sector physicians and the like. But when they would say, "But he quit," and I say, "Well, let's move away from that, because no, but he quit, and he's gonna quit again. He quit how many times? He was with one guy and undermined him, and then come back with him. Only a dog eats his vomit and all. He quit. No, he says he removed himself. No, he quit. So that thing that we want in our people, their competence, their ability, their accessibility, their humility, those are attributes that we want. But we also want two other things. I gotta trust you. Your word needs to be your bond, and I need to know that if I put you there to do a job, you gotta stay at your post. That could come from the seafarers who were on watch and didn't fall asleep. It may come from that thing that is in us whether it was World War I or the Spanish-American War, even earlier, or World War II, or even those of our fathers and grandfathers who went to Korea or to Vietnam. They volunteered. They didn't have to be conscripted. They paid their own passage to leave, whether north side or wherever, in Caymanian or throughout the Cayman Islands, and made their way to England to serve as a young fella to defend democracy. We don't quit. We do not quit. And that is just something that, what they say, sticks in your craw. You don't quit, man. You don't quit.
Now does and this is a question actually posed by one of our listeners, wanting to know whether or not there's any plausible deniability that can be associated with quitting. Do you get the opportunity, or do you have the advantage of, because you have quit, to say, well, I wasn't involved in these decision making?
I mean, like a Shaggy song, it wasn't me? No, not in this instance. You can be technical, and you can say, and again, I'm so grateful to you to allow me. One of our first interviews, you were, former cabinet secretary. You're involved intimately in elections in the past. So if anybody has some inkling into how our governance model, our constitution, the workings of cabinet, you probably got a front row seat. And yes, under the Westminster model, we understand if you can't agree with your government as a sitting minister, you step aside. But there's normally a transition where you approach your premier, your prime minister. The prime minister says, "Listen, I don't like you. You're not trustworthy. I got to fire you," because the premier, like the prime minister, has the constitutional authority to be able to hire fire its cabinet. You won't do so willy-nilly, because then next thing the government will be in disarray. And that's the other thing, right? When that is by convention the expected norm, this one is out, this one is in, and it's a quick reshuffle. We like to use nice words when it's convenient for us, and the country goes about its business. But when you leave a meeting, a party, a function the night before, and you look at your fellow cabinet ministers and say, "Okay, minister, see you in the morning," and they, pat you on the back and walk away, and next thing, first thing early in the morning, your colleague that's told you all is well is now in front of in our case, the governor, demanding an early election. That may be a wonderful move politically for that person's personal, bid for premier. But that is not respectful to your cabinet colleagues. That is not respectful to the voters who gave you that honor and privilege, in many cases, unknown. But it certainly isn't something that you do if you have a genuine commitment to the country's political stability. That single act, it is good to boast and brag about how much pieces of legislation you put in place, but that wasn't done by one individual. We have, as I shared immediately, the competency of our civil servants. If we only limit that to your respective ministry and your team, but it goes across all of the civil service that facilitate the passage of legislation, the running of this country. So credit isn't due to that one minister or that minister's small corps. It's not just the chief officer, like in this case, the competence of the Dr. Daxby Basdio and the like, the supporting cast that may come through the Attorney General chambers relative to their legal advice. It is a team effort. Now, when you accept the promotion and accolades for something like getting us off the grey list, when without acknowledging that almost everything, all but maybe one or two pieces that were outstanding, were done, efficiently effective, done under Sir Alden and his administration, again with the support of the government employees, the civil service, the private sector. So you only got one or two pieces left to do to check so that we get off that supposed grey list. But by quitting all of that, not just the one or two pieces that you managed to get being in the right place at the right time, but all of the countless hours and effort by others in the two administrations prior to get us there, in one fell swoop, you put the country in a position where it was perceived to be politically unstable. All of the things that were going on prior were bad enough. So much so that my friends in the private sector who retired 1 year in trying to enjoy are being called back by their partners and their accounting and law firms to speak to clients, existing clients. Hey, no, that's just, boys being politics. It's all good. I'm glad that the Honorable Deputy Governor makes a public statement to the country, but signaling internationally, hey, the civil service is good. We're functioning, right? That one act put this country in such a state that the UK may have had to step in and say, wait a minute, we can't allow that to our territory. I'll ask one last thing. Think about that now when we know publicly now the financial position of the country. The UK is already privy to that long before we in the public knows. It's looking at its political stability because of the selfish ambition of one individual who's not just the Minister of Financial Services, but is also the Deputy Premier, who is in one breath touting his success and seeking credit for off the grey list, and then putting us into this political, unstable, potentially at risk of being directly ruled by the UK. You don't sneeze at that. You do not quit.
Okay, with that, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. The voice you're hearing is the voice of Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, independent candidate seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our parliament. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. Oh, don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board our uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning.
Ouch!
When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. We have about 9 minutes and we're going to go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. But Mr. Ebanks will be with us until 9:15. I want to remind you that this is a paid political segment. If you do have any questions or comments, I invite you to send them to us at 925-3261. That's our WhatsApp number, and I will share those with Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Before we went to the commercial break, we were talking, about the attributes and credentials of the candidates, what the astute and knowledgeable voters of West Bay, what they're looking for in terms of their candidates as well. So should we continue along that trend, Mr. Ebanks?
Thanks very much, Mr. O.C., and I'm honored that the willingness of people to engage in political discussion. I'm honored that many of the voters in West Bay South as they speak, but I'm also cognizant that we're getting support in many ways, but specifically physical support, people who are willing to come on board across the entire country. Those who would call and say, I support you, I wish I could vote for you. I put a praying for you, and I welcome that prayer. But the willingness to engage, their demonstration of strong political acumen covers all of this country. And I share that to emphasize I want us as a country to respect that, to recognize how important that is, and to also appreciate that what is happening now through self-censorship and otherwise, sometimes directly by the employer, right? And not just the civil service, the private sector saying to its employees, you can't be participating. That is something that I think cannot be changed by legislation alone, but we will look strongly at ensuring, just like you have whistleblower legislation, you have other, we'll put in place something that protects people, including the civil service. We're not asking anybody to do anything that would betray the confidence of their employer, to, as we say, talk out of school. But you as a citizen in a country, whether you're a registered voter or not, but specifically if you are, you must be able to not just attend meetings, public or otherwise, in relation to political campaigns. You must be able to engage and speak your piece. We're all going to be held to account at some point for what we do and don't do, what we say or don't say. But you cannot be expected to make an informed decision if you're not able to access accurate and timely information. That, I think, will come about not just by legislation, but by an ethos that's being inculcated, by an example of a leadership that's not just inclusive, but one that nurtures and supports and ensures that people have that voice. Just like our men of yesteryear who volunteered, some, as Mr. Loxton reminds us, gave all, but all gave some, to ensure that we have democracy, that right and that freedom to castigate and criticize if we so choose and complain as much, but also to contribute. And in sharing that, if I might ask a couple of things, we'll take a second and look at some of the salient points in my manifesto here. But I'm not just a talk show host. And something that someone reminded, and I reflected on when Mr. Arden McLean shared that day, sort of the formal manifesto launch. We sent it to the media last week. It dropped, I put it in the papers and the stuff, as the media will do. They'll vet it. They could choose to print it or not to print it. This isn't a paid thing that we're asking them to do. We're not sponsored. This is what we're doing, and the media, being the media, provides it as a community service. I'm glad for that. But we had a formal manifesto launch. I take pride in that because our manifesto is a combination of a lot of work by a lot of people. I'm willing to be the tip of the spear to advocate and champion it. But what it also demonstrates the importance of having something that you can read and relate to, something that is not just respectful of what we're asking, but is responsive to what we're trying to achieve. And someone said, but you're not just a talk show host, and started to go through. And when you hear people say things about you, for some of us, it's kind of uncomfortable when there's good things to be said. We'd rather they say something bad, that way we can, we can put on the dukes. And the abilities that they've seen, not just, as a mama say, you're here not just for hot rack. Whether my academic studies, a few law courses, or got a little understanding of financial statements and accounting, might be able to add up a few things and, think it through. Whether it's the economics, which is, I think, a course should be in all of our schools at every age. I have, from what they shared, this ability to listen with the intent to try to understand, to build consensus, but also take a position without being disrespectful. Your daddy would listen to you and he say, okay, young buck, that makes sense, but have you considered this? At the end of the day, a responsible parent will do what needs to be done for the betterment of the child, whether the child likes it or not. You're not going to allow the child to eat all of the birthday cake in one fell swoop, unless you try to teach the child an example. You can't hear, you can feel. But you're not going to even do that then to the detriment of the child. As a political leader, you have to do the same thing, but not in a vacuum, not in a dictatorial manner. I recognize that people say, that's probably one of the reasons why for almost 20 years I sat in a seat without frustration, but to facilitate, without a sense of selfish promotion, but a sense of acknowledging the contributions of others. You don't realize how invaluable that is, because the turmoil that was the last 4 years, one individual created that, but made the presentation that, that Shaggy song, it wasn't me. No, it was you, Bobo. It was you. And so when we look at it, I think the other thing is that attempt, at least, of seeking humility before honor. I'm willing to ask the public. Now, I can't do this by myself, and I can't. Thanks for letting me sit the time. But I think it's important, and I believe the other parliamentarians will at least be willing to listen to the presentation as to its merit. I'm saying it for the reasons that I believe are significant. We get elected now. We fix the date for the next general election, and that stays fixed. Many of us thought it was a fixed date. Those of us who looked at it closely questioned it. Sir Alden has, as the architect of our Constitution, a very, very intimate knowledge. And when it became apparent that it wasn't a fixed date, but by convention, so I want us to return that date to the November of 2028 and every succeeding 4 years thereafter. That would mean that if I'm elected, my term would be shorter. That's fine. It's not about me. But I'm also willing to put the district councils in place so we have a semblance of succession planning, and not just by numbers alone, but the training and education that we would provide for the wider community, but in particular the district councils. We got a deep bench so that the next iteration of the election in November 2028, we got other people. I am prepared not to stand, but if I am going to stand, I am prepared to recognize that I have to compete for this post, because there are all of these other people who are not just willing, they're equipped, they're encouraged, and I have to recognize that the challenge is right there in that circle of people that I've put in place. Iron sharpens iron. That only makes me better.
Yep.
If I do that and I get a second term, I commit now. That is it. Not because of age, but because if you stay in one place for too long, you may become complacent.
Yeah.
But why stay at the top of an organization and deny the upward sort of mobility and motivation of others? And I'll talk about that in a bit
when we return. Yep. And we have another question. Also, this person was said to ask you which party he generally identifies with in America. And they go on to say it's actually a question that they would like to have every political candidate answer as well. So we can take that on when we return. Folks, top of the hour headline news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The last Chamber of Commerce candidate forum is taking place tonight. It will feature the party leader debate. The forum will be hosted in person at the Chamber's conference room at Governor Square starting at 7 p.m. And tonight's event will be live streamed right here on Radio Cayman, so make sure to keep it locked. China has retaliated with an 84% tariff on U.S. imports, taking effect tomorrow after accusing the White House of, quote, bullying practices. It marks the latest tariffs exchanged by the U.S. and China after Trump's 104% levy on Beijing kicked in today. China's exports to the U.S. amount to 2% of its total economic activity, and the message from Beijing is that they can ride this out. Elsewhere, steeper tariffs on 60 countries, which Trump deems, quote, the worst offenders on trade, also came into effect today. Trump says impacted countries are calling up and, quote, kissing my ass in a bid to negotiate as experts warn tariffs could increase prices. Looking at the market tracker, European stocks have dropped and major Asian markets extended their losses. Meanwhile, investors are selling their long-term U.S. government bonds, traditionally considered a, quote, safe haven asset. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning, this paid political segment, Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who's seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our parliament. And before we went to the break, one of our listeners wrote in wanting to know which party does Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks identify with in the United States? And they pointed out that they would like to have every political candidate answer that question as well.
For me, I joke and say I identify as a Caymanian first and foremost. In an attempt at jest, I recognize that our economy, as much as our politics, is influenced a lot by what happens in the U.S. But I would extend that question to ask, what about the other Caribbean parliaments of the independent Caribbean nations? What about the UK as, our administering power? What about Canada, given the strong connection through a banking regime, but also the educating of many of our students, but then the citizens? So when we look at it, but if we limit it specifically to the US, I don't really care for either of the parties in that sense. Some have some good initiatives, some are appalling. One of the things that is glaringly obvious when we look at the US political system, 330-something million people, whatever the last census is, and at the end of the day, the way that machinery works, there are a lot of other registered parties, political parties in the US. We only hear about two. Ross Perot, I think, demonstrated how if we were genuinely looking for competence, we want someone at the helm of his political leadership that would get things done. He would have been probably a good choice. Ralph Nader later on was almost an attempt, but he didn't, as Ross Perot probably demonstrated easily. He did not have the charisma. He did not have the political backing. He did not win the favor of the political handlers, but yet his policies as proposed were probably beneficial to the country. But you come to today in the last few elections, if out of 300 plus million, that's the best you can do as a nation. If you're looking at your country and you have either the parties putting forward, a dozen candidates vying for the political nomination for president, and they are eating up each other, destroying each other, and then what comes to the top, I don't know about you, but a lot of things float that aren't necessarily the best.
Yeah.
So
one of our listeners wanted to say, please ask Dwayne to specify and emphasize his qualifications and plans to improve Caymanians' lives in areas like health, including garbage disposal, recycling, etc., education, immigration, public transportation, etc.
And I looked, as that person shared, at the manifesto, and one of the things that we looked at, we didn't pick an exhaustive list of topics. We broke it down into the economic initiatives, and the top of that was, proactively taking the necessary steps to promote, protect, and support our financial services industry. We understand the importance of that to the country's budget, but the role few of us recognize that Cayman plays in the international financial markets. Under education and job security, right? We're talking about revising the education system by updating the legislative framework and implementing policies like integration, right, and inclusion to guarantee affordable world-class education for all Caymanians. These are just the first bullet point under each one. We have cost of living. We talk about consumer protection, ensuring that the consumer is obtaining value for money. For development, infrastructure, and an environment, we're going to look, and we have the competence within the civil service. We have the willingness within the private sector. We just need a political acumen and leadership to appreciate the importance of balance. You can't take, you should not take a sledgehammer to crack a nut. But sometimes you don't need to crack the nut. You just need to make sure that we are approaching this thing with respect and an appreciation. And I'll pick up on that in 1 second. But we want to revise the planning regime to promote sustainable development and prevent overdevelopment. Coming in this morning from West Bay, you can see it if you look closely. And because many of us do it every day, we don't see it. The analogy of the frog in the water, throw it in the boil, the water jumps out, put it in slowly, it'll stay there and boil to death, right? We can see the traffic increasingly getting worse coming from West Bay. It's getting worse going in at the times. Now, if we have done all of this to alleviate traffic, to make it so that the quality of life has been improved, are we going to continue to just build without planning? All right. And as I look at it, we talk about not having a national development plan, but we had one for 1977. We had a revision in 1997, and that plan, in it, You know, the one thing that our plan is called to do right at its outset, and it's the one thing that is being ignored. It's not to grant building permits and approvals. You know, it's not. If I was to ask people what they think that development plan from the 1977 to the 1997 amendment, you know what our plan? You know, this is our national development plan. It's not, as I say to people, it isn't to provide a board to approve building permits and construction projects. You know what it's supposed to do? Enhance, right, and maintain the quality of life. That's what our development plan is talking about. That's why that has been, you know, a primary focus for us, because that touches and concerns everything from the cost of living to the population to overdevelopment, but to the types of development that we're doing, to the recognition that we have increasingly created less and less opportunities for Caymanians. We need to now focus on the upward advancement for Caymanians, not just in employment opportunities, not just in access to education, but if they want to be entrepreneurs. Okay? We got to look at how politicians have used, and primarily, sir, I'll invite the public to chastise me if what I'm saying is not accurate. It may be harsh, but tough, right? We have a present incumbent member who seemingly has used the assistance, what was then in NAU, changed it to the DFA. Nice, wonderful word change, you know, but a personal slush fund, and the accusations of politicians of the past to make people believe that if the person not re-elected, that money that I got for you, I increased for you, will go away. No, that's your money, and it's not the individual politician's money. It's almost should be frowned upon, if not illegal, for a politician, especially now, to put, you know, hands from your personal purse to give it to somebody, because it could be considered treating or vote buying or what have you. But the money that you're getting through government assistance in whatever capacity is the government's money you're taking from your children's future. We need to look very carefully at how that's being done, because there are some people who are openly being disrespected, but they're being put in a position that they become now so desperate and dependent on the politician through different means. And I'm asking the voters to stop and look at what a politician has done. It's making you feel like you got to beg and behold to somebody, taking away the pride that we as a people have. Many of us want the necessary help to get us to a place where once again we can exhibit that pride that we know we have in us. But because of how things are being presented, we're almost being extorted by the politician. You don't vote for me, you won't get this again. That's not going to happen. Somebody may need $1,000, somebody may need an extra $2,000, but somebody may only need $500. They may only need it for a period of time that we help them. When the question earlier was asked about which of the U.S. parties, I really don't care for this one or that one. I want you to be working for the betterment of the country. U.S. President Clinton talked about a program, instead of welfare, he called it workfare. Nice term. The concept was what they were trying to achieve, and that's what we need to do. We need to return to our people that pride, the necessary assistance, whether it's financial, whether it's some sort of other support. How do we navigate the bureaucracy? How do we fill out paperwork, but also how do we get planning approval? How do we get the business license so that they can become, once again, prideful people who provide for themselves without the need of a politician making them feel they got a big borrow and behold. That's not something. We have all of this tied into the notion of improving the quality of life, and that's going to come about through a myriad of things. If you look at how much time we spend in traffic, coming or going, and we add that up per day, put that over the amount of days, that comes out to weeks every year. That time isn't productive. You're frustrated by the time you get to work. You're probably arguing with your partner or with your child. You're, sort of just furiated by the time you get to work. Your colleagues are going to feel it. Your clients and customers are going to feel it. But even if you just go into your own space, what does that do for your body? Those cortisol levels and the like. Those are things that we can address. if we look at government's attempt over the years to have a little bit of not just devolution of power, but decentralizing. And today, with the leveraging of technology, we don't need to build more buildings. We got the district post offices. We've got licensing regimes in Bordentown and West Bay, and those are good first starts. But we can also deploy greater resources of working, nice term, working remotely. We can achieve more if we are willing to just stop for a second, invite participation by others. But I say, he who knows it, he who feels it knows it.
Yeah.
Right? Ask the people. The deputy governor has done a phenomenal job over recent years trying to, my words, not his, reinventing government, looking at our approach to this world-class civil service from the perspective of incentivizing civil servants to be creative in how we can deploy the services. The productivity and efficiencies will come when we take ownership, go back to that vested interest that we all have. The company, the private sector company that develops an employee share ownership program to incentivize its employees to make greater profits, not only by what it produces and what it sells it for, but how efficiently and effectively it's able to produce that product to sell to that customer. Your mother would tell you, $1 saves, $1 earned. If a person has $5 and now needs $6 to buy the same thing that the $5 bought, isn't better off by getting a raise to $6. The person will actually be better off if with that $5, that $6 product now is costing $4. If we reduce the cost of something, if we make it more efficient, effective, and accessible, your spending power with your same income will go more. And now, with that, Ms. Orrett, we look closely at this last 4 years in West Bay, as a whole, but West Bay South in particular. Very little or nothing was done. We got one little piece of road paved on Powell Smith, one little piece of road paved by the cemetery. For $1 billion of excess expenditure as identified by the Auditor General, and that's all you got. A couple of drains clean and district cleanups for $1 billion. And now to recognize that, and I'm a very strong and proud member of the credit union, but that single act without supposedly, and all the cabinet colleagues at the time came out and said, what's this man talking about? He's proposing things that will also include a significant tax on credit unions. Us, the working people who save there, all of a sudden got to pay a larger fee and get no more to show for it. And to do that single-handedly, that speaks to arrogance, insensitivity. It speaks to a thing that demonstrates maybe your selfish ambition exceeds your ability. Emphasize that to share that this is not in consultation nor a request by the credit union, right? But we want to, in our plan, is to recognize the importance of ensuring that the credit union, if it so chooses, has the requisite legislative framework that it can, expand its services if, as a financial services body, it chooses to do so. Do you realize that right now, when you go and you take your check from the credit union and you go to a bank, the extended delay that you have for that money to hit your account, and this isn't a personal check here, but you can take that same amount from your commercial Class A bank and deposit it to your credit union account and get immediate credit for it.
Yeah.
Now, from one bank to the next bank, it may take, a bit of time, but why should that be, in this instance? And I think that there are many things that we need to look at, and so we want to modernize the legislation for credit unions so that they choose, they can do it. If another credit union wants to get established, the example exists in other jurisdictions. Now, it's for one thing for the entity to decide that it wants to pursue a particular business model, but even if it did, and the legislation is not in place, it can't, right? And I'm not trying to belabor that, but if we're looking at Cayman being the supposedly significant financial center globally, why is it that our people in our country can't benefit? It's not sufficient. It's not acceptable for us to say that we can take our child to university and in minutes have an account open in a country that we just come to with a bank, but you adding your child to your account, your existing account that you had for decades, and the only thing that left for you to do is to give blood.
Okay.
That's wrong.
Yep. I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments and talk about your next meeting or how people can obtain a copy of your manifesto very quickly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this time. And I am very impassioned. I'm very, few people said, but man, we know you privately. We know your love, your respect for your people, for this country. But when you were hosting a talk show, you it's the same person. Sitting in that seat, I'm there to facilitate. I know what I think. But if I don't listen to you, ask and try to understand what you're saying, I won't know what you think. In this vein, it is me who is running. I am the I in the Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. But I'm also part of the we. Not the we that comes in the WE in the West Bay, but the we that's in the Caymanians. The we that is inclusive. I had an amazing discussion with someone yesterday. And I thought, wow, that's great. And then right after that, had another even more engaging and amazing conversation with another person. And what was interesting about that, we all seem to understand what the problems are. We even have solutions if someone will ask us. There were three things that were evident. We, as a country, are not inviting and asking our people. I think we're going to see a different leadership. I'm asking the voters in West Bay South to vote for me. Not the Abason take a chance on me. I have the mettle, I have the resilience, the resolve, without sounding braggadocious. I have the acumen, the intellectual acumen, the political will, the charisma, and the charm, and the character and the integrity publicly to ensure that what we're doing is going to better this country, and it's going to be something that we're going to see that is not a change, but a transformation. Watch this space, as they say, April the 30th, number 2 on the ballot for West Bay South. I'm asking you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Folks, that's the voice of Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, candidate in the upcoming general election seeking to represent the constituency of West Bay South in our parliament. We're going to take a commercial break now. When we return, we will have the phone lines that will be open for about a half an hour. I want to talk some more about the importance of observers, election observers as well. Talk about the composition of the domestic observers in 2021. Look at their report as well and tell you some of the names of those persons who were on members of that team as well. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The proceeding was a paid political broadcast.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Step back in time and discover the rich history of the Cayman Islands at the National Museum. Located on the waterfront in Georgetown, the National Museum is proudly housed in the Old Courts Building, Cayman's oldest standing public building. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And here's the best part, Saturdays are free for residents. Don't forget to visit our museum gift shop. Every purchase helps preserve our artifacts and the historic building we call home. Visit www.museum.ky for more information.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Phone lines are open now. Our toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Are the numbers 949-8037, 949-6990 as well. I have a birthday shout-out that I have been asked to give out as well, so I'm going to do that now. So, birthday greetings to Miss Joan Ebanks of East End. She turned 91 yesterday, so happy belated birthday. Miss Joan Ebanks of East End turned 91 yesterday. Also, Miss Alex O'Neill has sent that, and she's also asked us to announce that a smart watch was found on her wall in Tropical Garden. Brown leather band. So if you have lost it, please contact Miss Alex O'Neill. She has it as well. And she's sending happy belated birthday greetings to Miss Joan Ebanks of East End, who turned 91 years of age as well. Any callers on hold, Miss Susan? One caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Tell me something. Radio Cayman is accredited and give accurate news report, right?
I would expect so. Remember now, we don't create the news. We basically share, news releases, what's given to us.
Okay, well, I was listening to the news yesterday about the report on the arrival of cruise passengers. Did you hear that report?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, let me enlighten you, and Ms. Susan can play it back for you. You can look it up on your computer. You have the abilities, I don't, but I can listen. Well, the report stated that the month of January and February this year, February specifically this year, the cruise ship arrival was up 23%. And January, I think, was about 20%. Now, listen, if I had a mining business with doing 5% or 2%, I would be happy. So, you got 23% over last year. So, we need the payers. Our business is dying. If you're getting a 23% in a year, I think we're running a pretty good business. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, OC. No, the facts is there. I mean, please, you like to fact check. You like to pull up. Check that back and prove me right or prove me wrong.
And can you repeat again? Can you repeat again your position? Sorry.
I said, if we getting a 23% increase over last year, we don't need no payers. They are telling us lie that the business is drying up. It's a lie. It's a wicked and wicked awful lie. It's just the ego.
And what did they say last year's was? Because,
Well, OC, please. Now, don't belittle me.
I'm not belittling you, but you have to, when you're going to analyze something, you have to know all of the facts. So we would need to know, my question is, if last year was low and we have a 25% increase, that says one thing. If last year's was high and we got a 23% increase, that means something, another thing. That's why I asked that question. Not belittling you in any way. I wouldn't do that.
see. Well, do me this favor and do the Cayman Island this honor.
Okay.
Right? Please do it for me.
Okay.
On this show here.
Yep.
Put up the figures from the tourism department that they sent to Radio Cayman. That will show the figures for last year, January and February.
Okay.
And the figures for this year, January and February. And share that with the people of our beautiful Cayman Islands. Do me that favor and the people. Thank you, sir.
I will. I may not have enough time to do it today, but, I promise you that it will be done, caller. Ms. Susan, we still have, we go to a break now as well. Okay, folks, we're going to have another commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. But I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
I was undercover and had just recovered the stolen artwork, but...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long. I found the art thief in France, but ended up becoming somewhat of a local celebrity. So I had to stick around for a while. But I was able to handle all my insurance needs with CG's online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britgay. Good like that.
Life is full of challenges, but you don't have to face them alone. At the Institute for Essential Care, we're here to support, guide, and empower you and your family through every stage of life. The Institute for Essential Care. Call us today at 1-345-325-7556. Email us at therapy@caymanessentialcare.com. Visit us online at www.caymanessentialcare.com.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Back to For the Record, no guests in the studio, so our phone lines are open. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number, 925-3261. As I mentioned earlier in the show, that the Office of the Governor had issued a release in relation to the appointment of domestic observers for the upcoming election and referendum. 7-member domestic election and referendum observer mission, consisting of the head of the mission, Ms. Deborah Ebanks, along with Nelva Ebanks, Brione Gallegos, Abraham Matthew, Brittany McVicker, Mark Thomas, and Valerie Rich. And then Jessica Anderson and Colleen Stozel have been selected as alternate observers. So that's for this upcoming election. 2021, we had domestic observers as well. They consisted of Haley Roberts, Sydney Ebanks, Mark Hilton, Margot Laris Alfonso, Colfred Scott, Oliver Watler, Andrea Williams, Ian Wang Tong, Trakate Young, with Yves Martel and Brian Plug. And they issued their report, and there were recommendations along with that report as well. And I'm looking now for the recommendations that they made in relation to it. We do have a caller. Let's go to the caller, and that gives me time to find the recommendations as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you too. I'll see how you doing.
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh well, you know how that goes. You know, it can always be better, but you know we just need to get some good politicians with backbone in line to this country. And I think your session there between this morning was highly recommended. I mean, I really appreciate that gentleman. So.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, see, what I see the problem is with our politicians, they cannot see beyond the horizon, right? All they can see is the horizon and their bank account. And as long as those two things is more important to them than trying to look beyond the horizon, we are not going anywhere in this country. Because what I see that is happening, I mean, I've been campaigning, OC, and you know that I prefer to talk with you because you're very respectful and you have a lot of respect for your callers.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what I see, I mean, about this thing with parking on sidewalks, and not one of them will address this. I'm coming down South Sound Road this morning and decide to go South Church Street.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some condos that is being built right across from where Alti had his first house.
Okay.
Right? The whole sidewalk is full of workers' cars. One lady there with her dog, walking her dog, had to put herself in harm's way to go out on the road because she could not walk on the sidewalk.
Wow.
I mean, when will somebody get the beat to address these things? I mean, why do we have a police force? Why do we have a traffic department? Why do we have politicians if this is what's going to continue happening and happening and happening? These people have no regard and no respect for anything about this country. There's only one thing that they're concerned about is our God Almighty dollar, and this has to stop. And you had one other lady on there. I don't really know her, but I've been doing some inquiries about her. Her name is Thomas.
Thomas, yes.
Well, let me tell you something, OIC. I are very impressed with when she came on to your talk show, because she hit every one of them nails on the head that I've been complaining about.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't have to feel for words.
Exactly. And I just hope that I get a chance to meet her. That's all I'm hoping for, because, I mean, the only thing that scares me, OC, is that the promises, right? Everybody is promising you that You know, we got hot sunshine 365 days a year, and we can tell our tourists that, because anything you tell America, they'll buy it, right? But it cannot happen, and this is where we are being fooled. We need to stop eating the rubbish that they are selling us or giving us to eat until that stops. It's not going to change, Owen, but I need to meet this lady.
Mhm.
I just hope I do. See, my friend, have a good morning, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm going to address the issue of the parking of vehicles at this construction site. And it's a question, rhetorical question of sorts. When the planning department and the board issues, I think it's called a red card or something like that for construction to be able to start. When considering an application and looking at the size of any particular project, is any consideration given to how the workers on that site will be accommodated? We know that the labor department has a small section in there in relation to job safety issues. Do we take into account the fact that all of those workers may be driving their private vehicles? Is there sufficient space on site or off site to be able to accommodate those vehicles? Because obviously, based on what the caller has said, that is not happening in the area that he spoke to. I will give you an example. The flowers projects that all take place. One that is now being completed almost opposite Cayman National Bank. Huge project. Merely feet away from the road. But other than the construction barricades that they had there to ensure safety and that allowed people, to walk safely on the sidewalk, there were no vehicles in that area. Now, the question again, is that because they are quite conscious of the inconvenience and the danger it would create by having vehicles there, and the fact that they're a good corporate citizen, whoever the contractors are? Is that the reason why? And in this South Sound site, is the reason being, number one, they don't care. Number two, they aren't being inspected and policed. Number three, they aren't good corporate citizens? Just asking the question, because we see it over and over and over again. Just before you get to the blowholes in East End, there were condos that were being constructed on the land side there. Same situation was happening there in terms of vehicles being parked there. We can do better, Cayman, and we have to do better. We talk about the erosion of our values. And one of the values that we had in the Cayman Islands, that we were an orderly people. We were neat, we were cleanly. We liked everything to be spick and span, and we liked it to be everything to be in place. We are losing, if we haven't already lost most of it, we are losing a lot of it as well. Cayman, what are we becoming? What have we come to? With that, we will take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Conner.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning. We have a caller. Do we have a voice note as well, Miss Susan? Okay, we're going to go to our caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I am good, man. Long time.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, boy. I don't get the, access to radio during most of the time that the show is on. That's why. But this morning I'm at home for a bit, and I caught pieces of the show. So I just want to comment on a couple of things, OC. First of all, Graham earlier was talking about, how we back in the day, we came from young Caymanian boys, went to sea and became captains and engineers and all that. And, the seafaring days are more or less gone, but we have transitioned now to the planes, so the sea captains have now become air captains.
Yes.
Because apparently, you were saying that Caymanian pilots are in high demand because of, I guess their acumen, and I guess they get the same treatment that everybody else gets, but it's something about how they apply it, that makes them that much better. And we can see it because Cayman Airways has one of the best safety records,
Exactly, yes,
of any airline. So maybe we, like you said, need to push that, we move from the seafaring days to the airfaring days.
Good point, good point.
Yeah, man. But anyway, the last thing, I just caught the tail end of your comment there a while ago about our Caymanians, how we prided ourselves on neatness and everything, doing everything right and stuff, and it's true. And we'll see, we I don't know, boy. My mother used to tell me years ago, I remember just after she retired, she was home, she listened to the talk shows. She didn't call in, but she listened, and she used to tell me repeatedly, she used to say, well, I'm sorry for you, She said, sorry for your generation. She said, hey, man, she said, greed and ignorance have taken over, greed and ignorance. She used to talk about all the time, and like that man used to say on that, that's a bad combination.
Yes.
It's just as simple as just greed. We are. The Bible talks about what is worth to gain the whole world and lose your soul.
Yep.
We have lost our collective soul, man. We have sold it out for a bowl of pottage. So and we continue down this road, and it's unsustainable. This model that we have to bring in people to develop for who, I've been here now for 50 years. We're doing this for Caymanians, and right now, Caymanians worse off than they ever been. And all this was for the benefit of Caymanians. So it's and I don't know, when, how, who will come along, or to start, making people realize. I think a lot of it has to do with training at home when you bring up children.
Yes.
The culture, we have to inculcate proper values and ethics and that kind of stuff in our children. We have to, that's where it's going to start, because we can't wait until they turn 10, 12 and go to school and expect somebody else to do it. The government need to do this and the government need to do that, as we hear people saying all the time, Yes, the government can do certain things, but then other things we have to do for ourselves, We have to take the responsibility of raising and inculcating, like I say, good values in our children and make them realize money is good, yes, but it's not everything.
Exactly, yeah. There's more to life than that,
you can have all the money in the world. We've seen examples of that all the time. Rich people, still unsatisfied, have everything but still have nothing, so to speak,
Yep.
So we need to hold on to those little things, I remember they used to make fun of us. I remember years ago when I first went to school in Jamaica, them time came out when none now in the 60s, And I used to feel kind of weird and ashamed, like, small boy, small
island,
boy,
yes.
Small island. And have this. And it's now over the years I've come to realize that was what made us those things that people, looked down or thought that was, I wouldn't say not too pretty and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what made us, and we are losing it, and we need to, reset.
So true.
But anyway, we can talk till we blow in the face, but people have to really start doing it and realize, like I said, that material things are not the everything, the panacea and the in and everything. There's certain things that you can't put value on, and that's what we have to realize.
Sooner or later, somebody's going to come along that, will change course for the Cayman Islands. I'm the eternal optimist that, sooner or later, we will get that savior will come for the Caymanians.
See, right here now, we talking about the elections, right? A lot of young people, we don't know. Maybe one of them, maybe somebody who can, stand up and make a difference, because we're beginning to feel it was as we know. Years ago, Caymanians now realizing, boy, we're getting pressed against the wall. So maybe that young generation now will have the cojones to fight back and to do the hard stuff, because some of it may be unpopular.
Yeah.
And that's what people forget, that you're doing this thing not so much for political favor and strength, but sometimes you have to do what is right, even when it's unpopular, even if it means not getting elected the next time. But if that's what we need, people who will have that kind of outlook and value, that we need to do the hard things, make the tough decisions, like Lyndon in the Bahamas back in the 70s, remember? And because of that, Bahamians run Bahamas. So, anyway, brother,
okay, thank you very much for listening, and thanks.
I think it's Longfellow. When they talk about the time has come, my friend, he said, to speak of many things.
Yes.
Of things and sailing boats, of cabbages and kings. I can't remember all of it. But the time has come. But we can't talk about everything now. But anyway.
Thank you for your contribution
day,
as well. You do the same.
Good to be able to get a little 2 cents in.
Same here as well. Miss Susan, we got a voice note now?
Morning, Mr. Conner. Listening to your show. Missed most of it with Mr. Sterling. But all the best to you, Mr. Sterling. On the statement that Mr. Elvis McKeever was making about the report on the tourism, the tourist arrivals for this beginning of this year. Well, I think I heard the same news. But the campaign from my understanding now, the campaigning to build the piers does not have anything to do with if we had more tourist arrival this year than what we had at the same period of time last year. The campaign for the piers is not speaking of what's affecting us in the present. It's speaking of what's going to affect us in the future, because the owners of the ships, they are building these mega ships, which bigger ships, huger ships, and they're saying that if we don't have piers, they will not be coming, because the smaller ships will not be coming anymore. And if we don't have piers for the mega ships to dock up, then we won't have the cruise ship. That's what I understand. It's not about, they're not campaigning on whether we had more tourist arrival now than we did then, or what's affecting us right now in the future. They're campaigning on what's gonna in the present rather. They're dealing with what's gonna affect us in the future when they pull out the small ships and send the mega ships in, because they're not going to be coming in because we don't have piers. From that's what I am understanding that it's all about.
Okay, I want to thank that caller as well. We have a phone call, and then I believe we have one other voice note. We may be able to get to that other voice note. Let's see. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hey, good morning to you, Mr. O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Thanks very much. Interesting that the caller just went there, because my mind was on the whole entire cruise ship debate, and some of the messaging that is out there. Just to say that recently, well, let me comment on what that lady just shared a while ago. There's so much things that they're not saying within this entire decision that we need to make, ma'am, and if that's the framing by which you hear it, then there's so much that has failed, because that is a scaremongering sort of viewpoint then that one attaches to. But I dare say to you, ma'am, as a Caymanian to a Caymanian, that your thoughts has to be much broader than that in terms of understanding what we're really voting for. And in my view, we're voting to kill our souls if we establish concrete in the middle of our beautiful downtown harbor. Recently, I saw a video from a gentleman out of Aruba. I want to make sure I get it right. Or it was Curacao. It was one of the ABC islands. I need to go back and look at it again. That's Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, I think is what that's referred to. And he was, I take it, a native from there. And he talked about how his island has been impacted by the construction of cruise ship piers. And what stood out to me in the midst of him he showed one pro, which we already know about, the mere fact then by having them, you obviously have more ships that are coming. But then he went on to talk about the tremendous amount of cons. And one of them that stood out to me, that certainly people like myself who share the view about how it will change so many things, is that currently, and so this is a new one for us to think about, currently our visitors from the cruise ships get off via tender. They come in on an average of perhaps 80, 100, perhaps 200 people at a time. And as a result, even when we have, even though that's the way that they disembark, we still see that when there's 2 and 3 ships in, it appears as if our town is completely taken over for the few hours that they're in there. When you have cruise ships, which was what stood out to me when he showed the video, you have basically, in the case of 2 mega ships, something close to 8,000 people all at once coming off in just one go. Changes the dynamics of so much. We think we got problems now. At least we're able to handle that 200 coming off every 10 minutes or whatever it is. It's a slow process. There's so many things that he said in the midst of that video that stood out for me, but that is the one thing that I wanted to share right now, that, we have to think, in addition to changing our whole entire downtown and destroying our natural environment that God has blessed us with, because I've shared that unlike the Caymanian people has to be mindful that God did not bless us with any mountains or rivers. If I dare should suggest to you, and any sort of major older fisherman would be able to share that with you, that we were blessed with a great underwater, the envy of many. And in fact, many of those small Caribbean countries right now that exist and that are attracting the cruise ships they have only become relevant because those cruise ships now have chosen to come to them. But it wasn't, and that is only because they're looking for destinations. But that isn't because of sometimes some of the natural beauty or the things or the people or the whole nine. I mean, maybe I'm a bit biased because I'm Caymanian, but we certainly have built our tourism on our water, the snorkel trips, the glass bottom boats, which a lot of people have gone away from. And I would suggest to some of our Stingray City people to start pivoting and looking at, how you could pivot to making a living by keeping on the West Coast and doing things within the natural harbor that we have. I know your time is up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I just want to leave you there for now, and I'll pick this up at lunchtime because there's more to be said.
Thank you very much. Yes, and Mr. Charles Glidden will be here on Talk today at 12:15 as well, folks. I want to thank all of you who contributed as well. Thank Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, his paid segment. Also, don't forget, we are our brothers and our sisters keepers. There's always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are. We should extend a helping hand to them or donate to a worthy charity. As usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. And I say to all of you, have a great day and please stay safe.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury,
and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And the Cayman Islands National Museum. Explore captivating exhibits and learn about our unique heritage and culture.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman, on right.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman.